Let me tell you about a man whose funeral has just ended. The prayers were made, the grave was filled, and his family slowly walked away. To them, his story was over, but for him, a new life had just begun. This life is called Barzakh, the stage between this world and the hereafter. It is a life the soul experiences. Some find peace there, others face difficulty, and one day you and I will enter it as well. So today we will explain the life of Barzakh, so we can understand what truly begins after the grave is closed. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, are you prepared for the life of Barzakh? Stage 1. Entering the grave. When a person dies, their soul is taken and their body remains in this world. The body is washed, the funeral prayer is performed, and then it is carried to the grave. The body is placed into the grave and soil is poured over it until the grave is closed. After the burial is completed, the Prophet Muhammad said, "When a human being is laid in his grave and his companions return, and he hears the sound of their footsteps, this moment marks the beginning of Barzakh." Stage 2. The arrival of Munkar and Nakir. After the burial is completed and the people have walked away, the Prophet Muhammad said that 2 angels come to the deceased in the grave and make him sit. Stage 3. The questioning. After the angels come to the deceased and make him sit, the questioning begins. At this moment, the person is not being asked something new or unfamiliar. He is being asked about the beliefs he lived with during his life. Imagine a person who lived his life knowing his Lord. He prayed to Allah, relied on Him, and understood why he worshipped Him. When he is asked in the grave about his Lord, he does not hesitate. He answers naturally, saying that his Lord is Allah. This answer is not memorized. It comes from a life of belief and practice. The same happens when he is asked about his religion. During his life, Islam was not just a word to him. It was how he lived, how he prayed, how he behaved. So when he is asked about his religion in the grave, he answers calmly that his religion is Islam. Then he is asked about the Prophet Muhammad. He knew who the Prophet was. He learned about his life, followed his teachings, and respected his message. When the question comes, the answer is clear to him. He speaks with certainty, because this belief was already part of his life. Now imagine another person. During his life, he heard these beliefs, but he never truly cared about them. He followed people without understanding. He repeated words without meaning. Islam was something around him, not something inside him. When this person is asked in the grave about his Lord, his religion, and his Prophet, he becomes confused. He tries to answer, but nothing feels clear. The words he used to repeat no longer help him. He can only say that he does not know, and that he used to say what other people were saying. This stage shows that the questioning in the grave is not about memory or intelligence. It is about what a person truly believed and lived by before death. Stage 4. Being shown the place. After the questioning in the grave is completed, the person is shown his place. For the believer, he is shown his place in paradise. He sees where Allah will admit him. This sight brings him comfort and reassurance. Even though he has not entered paradise yet, seeing his place makes him certain that what awaits him is good. The waiting in the grave becomes easier because he now knows his final destination. For the other person, the one who failed to answer, he is shown his place in hellfire. He sees where his path leads. This sight fills him with fear and regret. He understands that what he ignored in his life now has a clear outcome. The waiting becomes heavy because he knows what lies ahead. Stage 5. Expansion or constriction of the grave. After the person is shown his place, the condition of the grave itself begins to change. For the believer, the grave does not remain narrow or frightening. Instead, it becomes a place of comfort. After he answers truthfully, the Prophet Muhammad described this moment and said, "My servant has spoken the truth, so spread a bed for him from paradise. Clothe him from paradise, and open a door for him into paradise." Because of this, air and fragrance from paradise reach him, and the Prophet said that a space is made for him in his grave as far as the eye can see. The grave becomes wide and peaceful, and the believer waits in ease. For the other person, the one who failed to answer, the situation is completely different. A call is made declaring that he has lied. The prophet said that it is announced, he has lied. So spread a bed for him from hell, clothe him from hell, and open a door for him into hell. Because of this, heat and distress from hell reach him. The prophet explained that his grave is then compressed until his ribs are crushed together. The grave becomes tight and unbearable, and the waiting is filled with hardship. At this stage, the difference between the two outcomes becomes clear. One grave is expanded and filled with comfort, while the other is constricted and filled with distress. The same earth holds two completely different experiences. Stage 6. Life in Barzakh. After the events of the grave have taken place, the person enters a long period of waiting. This is the life of Barzakh. For the believer, this waiting is connected to paradise. He is aware that paradise is his final destination. Even though he has not entered it yet, his life in Barzakh is lived with comfort and reassurance. Fear is gone, and the waiting does not feel like punishment. The believer remains in this state until the day of resurrection. For the other person, the waiting is connected to hellfire. He knows where his path leads. The awareness of hellfire does not leave him, and the waiting becomes heavy and distressing. There is no return to the world and no chance to change what was done. He remains in this state until the day of resurrection. Stage 7. Resurrection. After a long period of waiting in Barzakh, a moment comes that no soul can escape. This is the moment of resurrection. At this moment, Allah commands the trumpet to be blown. With this blow, everything changes. Barzakh comes to an end. The waiting stops completely. The grave is no longer a place of rest or distress. The earth opens, and all people are brought back to life. They rise from their graves, just as they were created the first time. No one is left behind. Those who waited with the hope of paradise and those who waited with the fear of hellfire all stand again. This is not a slow or gradual event. It happens suddenly and to everyone at once. The silence of the grave is broken and the hidden world is revealed. For the believer, this moment is not unexpected. It is the moment he was waiting for. What was promised to him during his life and shown to him in the grave now moves closer to becoming reality. His life in Barzakh ends, and the next stage of the journey begins. Resurrection is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of the final account. What followed? Death, the grave, and Barzakh. What differs from one person to another is not the journey itself, but how it is experienced. Islam does not leave the believer without guidance for what comes after death. The Prophet Muhammad clearly informed us that some deeds continue to benefit a person even after he is placed in the grave. Among the greatest of these deeds is Surah Al-Mulk. Abu Hurairah reported that the Prophet said, "There is a surah in the Quran of 30 verses. It intercedes for a man until he is forgiven, and it is Surah Tabarak. Blessed is he in whose hand is the dominion." This statement from the Prophet shows that Surah Al-Mulk is not only a chapter to be recited, but a source of mercy that continues beyond death. Its intercession does not stop at the grave. It continues until forgiveness is granted. Surah Al-Mulk reminds the believer that all power and control belong to Allah alone, that life and death are part of a test, and that every soul will return to its Creator. Reciting it regularly strengthens awareness of accountability and keeps the reality of the grave close to the heart. Because of this, Surah Al-Mulk is closely connected to life in Barzakh. It accompanies the believer with remembrance, protection, and hope. It is one of the means Allah has given to protect His servants and to grant them mercy after death. Barzakh is not entered empty-handed. What a person carries into it is what he built during his life. Faith, remembrance, sincerity, and obedience do not end at death. Their effects continue. As this video comes to an end, the journey it describes remains ahead for every soul. Barzakh will come, resurrection will follow, and then comes what lasts forever. May Allah grant us forgiveness through His mercy and grant us safety and peace in our graves. Assalamu alaikum.